Hey everyone, and welcome to Comic Breakdown. If you are new to the channel, do me a favor, hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you're not missing any of the content that we have coming out. And today, we are diving into Dark Knight's Death Metal, the last 52 War of the Multiverses. Now, if you have not been keeping up with Dark Knight's Death Metal, if you have not checked out the newest issue from Tales from the Dark Multiverse, go ahead, check out in my description. I got a link to the playlist. I'll leave it at the top of this video as well. You guys can get completely caught up on everything Dark Knight's Death Metal related. And be sure that you guys come back next week because we are going to be covering everything related to Future State. And I think next week it has 6 issues releasing. So it's definitely not going to be a week that you want to miss. It's going to be the introduction to pretty much the future of DC Comics. Or at least as it stands until March. We'll see what they decide to do there. I'm pretty sure, I believe it's called the Final Frontier or something of that nature, is the event that's picking up afterwards. Now this issue is going to be picking us up right into the battle, just like we left off in the last issue with the Golden Wonder Woman rising from the Forge. And there's a couple of other small stories attached to the main story here. We are going to cover some of them, but we are not going to cover all of them. I don't want to give every little bit of this story away to you guys, and it is a huge issue. It's like 80 something pages long. So without further ado, let's dive into this issue. So getting into this one, we pick up on the battlefield with a god-level Wonder Woman literally standing like 20 stories high, and everybody on the battlefield just ready to start duking it out. And the battle kicks off, and Wonder Woman's just, pretty much telling the one who laughs, like, we're one universe. All of it, all of us matter, even him. And of course he says, he's the only one that matters. And this is when Wonder Woman uses her lasso of truth and wraps it around the one who laughs. She's trying to essentially bring the truth to him. And the one who laughs, he's pretty much like, oh, you wanted the truth? Like, all you had to do was ask. I'll tell you straight up what the truth is. And this is where he tells her, now, look at the new worlds I've created. I call them your nightmares, but they are so much more than that. Worlds where Lois Lane killed all the superheroes. You have the last sun, where Superman finally realizes the humanity is just beneath him. Where Aquaman's imprisoned by his mother, where Parallax exists. All of these are the truths. These are the true worlds, according to the one who laughs. The worlds where they don't let their pretentiousness get in the way and they let the real them shine. The real evil that lies within them. And that the only lie is the lie of hope. And so we start seeing battles fought all across this battlefield. But what's really freaking unique, and I absolutely loved it here, is we get the Dark Multiverse version of Wally West. And it's pretty much Wally West carrying 2 pistols and just blasting people away as he's moving at the speed of freaking light. And this is Wally West's opposite. It's the version of Wally West that killed his friends but didn't regret it or remorse it. He reveled in it. He loved it. He basked in it. But as soon as this Wally West arrives, is pretty much as soon as he gets taken down, because Speedy, undead Speedy if you will, puts an arrow right through his head. And Speedy pretty much tells Wally West, like the good version of Wally West, he's like, hey man, like, I get what you did. You're not him. I forgive you for what you did, but I'm going to say you owe me. And as they're sitting here fighting all of these guys, we see Jay Garrick and Barry Allen show up, and it's really seeming overwhelming. But then we see the arrival of Kid Flash, Max Mercury, Avery, Jesse Quick, Bart Allen. We have all these guys showing up, ready to start taking on. You got the freaking elemental that is Swamp Thing. You got all these individuals that are just going as ham as possible. And this is where we cut back over to the one who laughs and Wonder Woman. And the one who laughs is pretty much saying, like, in your life, all that you've experienced, your great wars, what did you see? What do all of your friends not want to admit? What is the real truth on this battlefield? And the real truth is that the war has no happy ending, no matter what. And yet they keep fighting. Because they follow her example of courage and hope. And the one who laughs really suggests, all of this can stop right now if you stop fighting. If you were the one to stop fighting, everybody else would lose morale and they would also stop fighting. So what do you say? Like, how about you stop? And of course, Wonder Woman's like, I'd rather die. There's no way in hell that I'm gonna submit to you. And she lets him know, like, the only sound the multiverse is going to hear is the sound of me kicking your ass. Now, that will be it for the main storyline. This is where we kick off into some little side pockets, which are really cool. And actually, we're probably going to end up seeing some of these individuals in future state, like the House of L. Now, what I don't like about these little side stories is really they're pitting, you know, Superman versus Superman, Batman versus Batman, the Flash versus the Flash. You know, they're not really mixing it up. They're really just having everybody take on their own counterparts, which makes sense for certain individuals like Superman and things of that nature. But when it comes to people like Batman and other individuals, I would have really liked to see a lot more variety on who they were taking on. But for this part, it's a Superman free-for-all. And we have our regular Superman, the Man of Tomorrow, and then we have our other ones. We have Shepherd, we have Savior, we have Saint, and we have Last Son, the captive Superman. And all of them together make up the superiors of the ancient House of L. And Clark Kent looks up to these guys and he simply says, it doesn't have to happen like this. And all the Superman are like, oh yeah, whatever dude, like be quiet. And he's just like, I wasn't talking to you guys, I was talking to him. And this is when he flies up to the Last Son. And he lets him know, like, just remember who you are. This isn't who you are. Remember what that S on your chest stands for. Like, he is really just trying to reach out to him. And even Connor is on the ground and he's just like, what the heck is he doing? He really thinking that he can turn the Last Son? And Kara's just like, yeah, like he's Superman. He can literally do anything. And as everybody looks to the sky, hoping that they can see the Last Son turn, the Last Son just punches Superman to the ground. And really, Superman's just getting his butt kicked here. So much so that the Super Sons, they all get together and they're like, all right, we got to try to stop this. But they're stopped by the evil version of Superman. And they're pretty much just holding them in place and making them watch as Superman gets his butt kicked by the Last Son. And we really do see these guys just use the full extent of their power, from strength to laser vision, trying to take each other down. And it seems that our Superman has lost this fight, but this is when we see the arrival of Lex Luthor, the son of Jor-El, and Hank Henshaw. All of them arrive to help Superman out, and they start just duking it out with all the other Supermen. And this is where Superman drops to his knees. You know, the anti-life equation has really started to take its effect on him, and he's just lost so much of his power. But this is where his cousin and all of the Superboys and Supermen step up and make the charge. Now, our next story is Batman. Now, as this battle is raging on, we see the Batman and the Bat family all trying their best to really fight this fight, but it's seeming like it's almost lost. And this is when we see the Batman who laughs on the battlefield. But this Batman who laughs is actually under the control of the Black Lantern ring. Or at least it appears to be so until Batman gets a spear to the chest. And what the Batman who laughs reveals here is that he was never under the control, he was just playing along the whole time. And what we're finding out is these two have just been trying to one-up each other, trying to be tricking each other the whole time. Like, he's like, oh yeah, well guess what, I had my own ring. Well, guess what? I lathered myself with oils from the Lazarus pit. Well, guess what? I put a counter agent on that would, before I brought you back. Like, there's just so much back and forth because these two are individuals that have always thought of every situation. And the Batman who laughs is really just like, you know, I got over on you, Batman. Like, I'm definitely getting over on you, and I'm just gonna go start killing and slitting throats. That way, my memory, my nightmare rebuilds in the dark multiverse. No matter how this ends, I will still exist. And this is when Batman tells him, like, the only one that really knows what you can do is me. And I'm not going to fear you. In fact, I will do everything in my power to forget everything about you, so that you never exist at all. Or you can decide to head onto the battlefield and you can do your part in my name. Now, there are a handful of other stories here. There's a Teen Titan story, and the Teen Titan story is pretty much Raven taking on the dark version of Raven. There's a story with the Atom, and it's the Atom taking on the dark version of the Atom, along with Mr. Terrific and some others. You know, we have Lois Lane facing her evil counterpart. You know, it's just very repetitive. It's like a bunch of stories doing the same thing over and over and over again, and it's just kind of boring. Like I said, I really wish they'd mix it up. You know, we got a bunch of different things here, like the Penguin taking on multiple versions of the Penguin, John Constantine taking on the opposite version of himself, and then Swamp Thing taking on the evil Swamp Thing. And the problem I have with all of these is pretty much in every single one of our stories, our heroes overcome somehow. You know, and this is supposed to be like the end battle of all times, and we have our heroes, you know, easily taking on these dark counterparts that are supposed to be the embodiment of evil of themselves. It's supposed to be the best evil version that there is out there. And these guys are, you know, really getting just the floor mopped. I would have really liked to just see it mixed up a little bit more. Like, these stories are fun and everything, but I would have liked to see the Flash go against the evil Swamp Thing. You know, I would like to see these matchups that we don't get to see, and we probably won't get to ever see again, at least not for quite some time. But yeah, if you're interested in those stories, go ahead and go check out the issue. It's worth at least buying the issue and going through it one time. But I wouldn't say that it's something that I'm gonna come back to and reminisce and get that nostalgia feeling from, because it's just not there. Like, this is definitely a comic that I'm gonna read once and put down. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, make sure that you stay with us through next week, because next week we are going to be starting Future State. We are going to see the House of L. We're going to see Duke Thomas. We're going to see a whole bunch of new lineups and new characters I am super excited for. So, until the next video.